The Menai Strait is a special place. There's no doubt about it. It is.
I tell you, it'll make your eyes water or it'll make you smile. There's nothing in between.
It is the most stunning location. It takes me away and completely chills me out.
It's a huge honour to be able to live somewhere like here because I can entertain my creative need as well as my needs to be outdoors.
Go for a bit of a walk around somewhere and just sit somewhere just for an hour. It's surprising what you'll see around the Menai Strait.
The Menai Strait, a magical stretch of sea that separates the Isle of Anglesey from mainland Wales. This series brings you a year in the life of the Strait, capturing the beauty of 4 glorious seasons and the life cycle of the men and women who live here. The beauty and challenges of life on the most incredible saltwater river in Britain.
I like the buzz of summer. When it's all going up and it's all going a bit mad and there's just like kids all over the place and you can just hear them all screaming and shouting.
We start early, we work and we finish. The good thing about June, it gives you another 6+ hours after you finish work to carry on doing stuff in daylight.
Students are usually finishing off sort of early summer, so the scientists and academics get a chance to pursue their own sort of key research. We're not on holiday or anything like that. It doesn't happen that way, I wish.
You just don't know what kind of summer you're going to get. You just have to take it as it comes, really. The chap that used to run the boat here in the 70s told me, he said, well, every day you lose, you never get it back, and he was right, really.
It gives the place a bit of a lift, doesn't it? Particularly when the regattas and that are on and all the small boats are out sailing every Saturday and Sunday. It's so colourful, you know, it's a hell of a nice atmosphere.
It's really hard for me because I love the nice weather because I can get out and do a lot more, but it's terrible for business. We know that we've got a lot of school visits, we know we've got a lot of bus tours and groups and things like that coming, but it's things like the weekends that make a lot of difference in June and July. If you have really nice weather weekends, everyone goes to the beach or up in the mountains.
Summer for us might not be much going on the Menai Strait itself, except for keeping an eye on the mussel beds, sampling and whatever. But everything else is going on around us, and everywhere's getting a little bit busier. The boats are starting to appear on the moorings.
I absolutely love the fact that I'm watching the clock, and even if I've got customers and it's been a really good busy day and I've made loads of sales, I'm thinking it's nearly 5:30 and I'm going to get up into the Carneddau and I'm going to do a mountain walk, or actually I'm going to go to the beach and we're going to go and have a barbecue. We've done, like, you know, a 14, 15-hour day, and it's just, there's nothing better. I love days like that.
In early summer, the Strait gradually gets busier and busier, and the local boatmen have to share their stretch of water with visiting boats and pleasure yachts.
On the Straits here, when you've got, you know, all the yachting fraternity out and having their regattas and what have you, you've got to be mindful of that. It's everyone's environment, isn't it? And I think there is that spirit, that communal spirit. I think every time you go past a boat, there's always, hello, you know. You don't do that in a car, do you? Not very often, anyway. And I think, you know, when you do that on a boat, it's nice, yeah, because we're all... Anyone who takes to the water, I think, is always kind of, like, respectful of it, you know, mindful of it, and there to enjoy it.
But not all visiting yachtsmen are welcomed so warmly.
Wind-assisted flipping idiots. Nearly, but you didn't get me. Come back in! You're caught in the sling! You're in gear there, Eric! Eric, you're going ahead! Waffies. Always the same. Waffies. Wind-assisted effing idiots.
Stan calls them waffies or yellow welly brigade or whatever else. I'm probably going to upset somebody there, but I would say it's silly season at times. There's that many boats out there, and, you know, it can be frightening. They see a 43.5-metre boat working in the corner of Gallows Point, not realising I've got a metre of water underneath me. They're drawing 2 metres. But they see that big boat over there, they've got to go to where the big boat is with wires hanging off the back end and everything. They've got to, it's like a magnet.
Buy a yacht, In you go. Ta-ra, thank you very much. It's like buying a car and driving it without a driving test. Well, I wouldn't say they were a blooming nuisance, but they're certainly concerning. You know, nice people, don't get me wrong, but they haven't got a blooming clue about what goes. They think they're going on a pond, and it ain't a pond.
An annual visitor in early summer is the Balmoral, a classic vintage cruise ship originally built in 1949. Sailing a ship this size and speed through the Strait is a job for an expert, and Emrys is just the man.
When you first steer a big ship through here, it can be quite stressful until you're happy that you've done it so many times that you still try you sometimes. You've still got to be on the ball, you've still got to be careful.
Emrys knows these waters like the back of his hand. He's the 6th generation of pilot boatmen from Caernarfon.
Dead slow on the starboard now, yeah. You know, it's all ebbing that way, but once you get so far in, you see, it's going to be coming. I know it's when I first started, when I used to bring these tankers through to Caernarfon, it was quite stressful, but you get used to it. You need a lot of practice. Between the bridges, the course is just a very, very narrow channel. It's only 100 foot wide and very strong tides, of course, yeah. I learnt an awful lot working with my father mostly, and he knew it very well. He was very experienced, but you're still learning all the time. He always used to tell me when he was coming through the swillies there with the ship, just watch them, because even though you've been through 100 or 1,000 times, they still try you. You still got to be, you still got to be on the ball.
The stretch of water between the two bridges is one of the most dramatic and frightening tidal flows in Britain.
The Menai Strait can kiss you or it can bite you. And when it bites you, it bites hard.
It's a unique place, it's a dangerous place, and I think the Swillies is a challenging place. You know, you get it wrong, you're going to pay dearly.
Well, there's no place like it for me, the area between the bridges. It's the most difficult area, navigation-wise, but it's pretty unique and it's pretty special.
Scientist Mike Roberts has studied the Menai Strait as a marine geologist, and this particular area between the two bridges has always fascinated him.
It's got this complexity about the water flowing in from different directions simultaneously. The way that the tide flows, they flood up through the Menai Straits here, but they're also travelling around Anglesey, and they're kind of meeting itself coming up from the southwest to the northeast. So it's not a case of the water just piling on through in one direction. It's actually coming in two different directions and meeting at different points of the Strait at different times of the day. So it's quite a unique setup and a complicated one. Nelson said quite famously that if you can navigate this area of water, then you can pretty much do anything or go anywhere in the world, because it is such a complicated sort of arrangement, if you like, in terms of the flows of water.
These waters can also be a playground to adventurers and thrill seekers. Jamie Johnson and Ali Yates are instructors at Plas Menai. With experience, knowledge and respect, the most dangerous waters can be enjoyed safely.
It's got tides that move in and out 4 times a day. It makes it very challenging. It's just such a unique place.
Education is the key to safe adventuring, and to promote a vital new partnership, Plas Menai, the National Outdoor Centre for Wales, hosts an Open Safety in the Outdoors Day.
What an amazing day for the launch of Safety in the Outdoors and the Swim Safe campaign. It's the 2nd or 3rd year that we've been involved in it now, the provision of introducing kids to that the water is safe, and some of the things that they need to do whilst in the water to help protect themselves and get them out of dodgy situations, potentially. We've had the Newfoundland dogs coming in and out, not quite so keen to go in and out the water, but they were in and out the water doing some rescues. We've had the lifeboats here, and coming into the centre, we've had the fire services, emergency services, rescue services, talking to all sorts of youngsters about what they do.
You just pull it open like that, and you blow into that, and then that'll inflate inside your helmet so it fits properly snug to your head.
It's a really good day, and it sends a message out that what to do if it goes wrong, what to do for the youngsters if they do go in the water, and some life skills that hopefully that they learn when they've done that, they'll carry forward and go, I remember we must do this, I remember I must do that, must shout, must link together, must stay warm, you know, those kind of things. It's what's driven me for my professional career. If anything that we do inspires somebody to become a next Olympic champion, inspires somebody to work in the industry and work with youngsters, inspires people to go and work for the RNLI or go and work on ferries or anything to do with the water or the land-based activities, well then I guess we've been complete in our aims for what we want to do.
By early summer, Menai, the olive ridley turtle washed up barely alive outside the sea zoo back in November, is making great progress and is ready for the next stage of her rehabilitation, back to her native waters thousands of miles away.
So we've still got Menai the turtle. She's really, really fit and well. She's ready to be moved on for her next stage of pre-release rehabilitation. And the good news is it looks like we've secured a sponsored flight for her. So by the end of June, we're hoping that we'll be flying her off to Gran Canaria. She'll probably be there for about 6 to 12 months, and then we'll follow her again from there when we release her back into the wild. So she's a happy turtle, she's a fit turtle, and it's absolutely incredible that just 6 months ago, she was basically dead on the beach at the bottom of the drive. It's completely astounding. And it's even more amazing that as an endangered species and as a female of that endangered species, knowing that it might actually go on to reproduce and contribute to future generations is amazing.
With the stresses of nursing Menai back to health, Frankie and her team have decided to let the hair down and enter the Great Strait Raft Run, an iconic raft race from Afelinheli to Menai Bridge. But first, they need to build a raft.
The rafts arrived this morning, and the basic raft is really robust, really good. We're trying to put all the finishing touches on it, and it's been a little bit experimental, so we're kind of trying things out. We tried it on the water, we know it floats. Not worried about it not making it. Turtley Crazy is the name that we've come up with for our raft, because it's all fundraising towards Menai the turtle, so we want to try and kind of push that a little bit as well. We have no idea how it's going to go, but it's going to be a laugh anyway. So we're getting the raft together. Our aim is to finish the course in whatever time, so there's not really a lot of competition about it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
For boatmen Stan and Emrys, early summer warmth brings tourists to enjoy the delights of the Strait.
A lot of people now retire early, don't they? So you've got an awful lot of people that are coming down before the school holidays, so they've got peace and quiet and they can go nice and still lovely, take the time. And me sitting there with a wheelbarrow, just top it up. And don't forget your voucher to if you want to come again. Breaks my heart giving you money back, but there we are. What else is there? Like the Menai Straits, there isn't, is there, in the world, I don't think. What a place. Jewel in the crown of Wales, Beaumaris. And it's worth coming to see. With all the troubles that are going around the world, a lot more people are staying at home. But there's an awful lot more day trippers, and it helps us no end.
With sunshine and tourists, Emrys is smiling again.
It's come nice and sunny over the last hour. Literally, it was quite a dull morning and just 1 or 2 glimpses of sun. But it's nice bit of clearance now, and it's picked up. Hasn't been too bad overall. We've had not too much rain really. It's been quite steady.
Not everyone enjoys the crowds. The towns may be busy, but landscape photographer Glyn Davis can always find peace and tranquility along the Strait.
I don't cope very well with big groups of people anywhere. Being out in the landscape and being alone in the landscape is absolutely the best. It's the only time when you feel nothing else matters.
Aberogwen and Traeth Lafan are on the mainland side of the strait, opposite Stan's boatyard in Beaumaris. It's a stunning area steeped in history.
The Spinneys, they're just a fascinating place. You know, being there, you're looking at this place that seems so tranquil, and it seems so calm. But then you think about the fact that there's a whole history there. There was a battle there, a very famous battle, where the Welsh actually pretty much demolished the English. Many of the English soldiers were killed, and they were taken by the Menai Strait as the tide came in. And it's quite mind-blowing to think that such catastrophic events had happened in a place that we just see as a lovely place for boulders and nice bits of old sea defences, you know? It is getting harder and harder to escape crowds and to escape people. And there are places along the strait that you can just about do that, but you do have to look harder for them. And perhaps it's only a matter of time before even those will start to become busy as well. And then maybe I'll have to think about pastures new at some point. But at the moment, this is a very good place to be.
Mussel boatman John also enjoys the quiet life. A keen amateur photographer with a passion for bird watching, he's a regular visitor to the wildlife reserve at Aberogwen.
I've always had some kind of a camera in some form or another. Even these days now, you know, go look for something in the wardrobe. I dig out an old box because I can remember, you know, a picture of something I took 20 years ago in Llanelli or Bury Port. It's all about memories, isn't it? You know, it's nice looking back. Mainly we come here because of the amount of bird life that's out on the estuary here. I think, you know, things like the eider ducks and the wading birds, the oyster catchers that come here because I think of the mussel beds is quite interesting, and year on year you see everything just thriving and more species arriving every year. I'm not an expert on birds at all, unless it's the obvious. Myself, usually photography involves taking the camera, taking the dog for a walk, and if I see something nice on the way, that's great. But now and again, it's just nice to go and sit down here, nice and quiet, peaceful. And I think you know, everything else you forget about it because you're concentrating so much on getting that nice shot. I'm quite lucky today that the kingfishers made a bit of a spectacle of themselves, so that was a bit of a bonus. At the moment, that kingfisher is completely doing my head in. Somebody's telling me the other day, I think a kingfisher on a 3-foot perch will take 1.2 seconds to dive off that perch, catch his prey and back on the perch. And every time I try and get a photo, the only thing I'm getting is a splash. There's no sign of him. It's probably the most beautiful bird in the UK anyway, but for me, it's that challenge. It's so quick, and I just want that picture of him with the beak in the water, the body out. One day. Every time I have a look at the camera, I got lovely pictures of it on the perch and everything, and I got a big splash. He's in there, but there's no sign of him going in or out. One day I will get him.
Far from quiet, indeed one of the busiest days in the summer calendar, the Great Strait Raft Race gets underway from Afelinhelly.
Aye, Captain Bye.
It's a fun day for the local community, a raft race navigating the most treacherous waters in Britain. And Frankie and her Sea Zoo team are up for a bit of fun and adventure.
Preparations are good, the weather's with us, it's a bit windy, but at least it's not raining. We're not in it to win it, we're in it to finish, and it should be a hoot, so we'll just see how we get on. Got our turtles, got our name, got everything pretty much there. We've all signed our forms, gone through all the health and safety, all the raft inspection, everything. We've got 9 of us paddling on the team as well, all good swimmers, all pretty hardcore girls, and hopefully lots of paddle power. We'll see how we get on. And it's quite nice having a bit of girl power.
The raft race has been going for as long as I can remember. I think that makes me laugh is you get the really good ones, you know, they're sleek, they're going to go quickly, and you get barrels and planks. I would not want to do a row in barrels and planks.
The raft race was born in 1984. And in all those years, the route hasn't changed at all. It's still 3.5 miles of organised chaos. Fun, but competitive racing on the craziest floating crafts seen on the Menai Strait.
The raft race is a day that we try to make sure that we're not around. Respect them. I hate the water. I will not get in that water.
It does have its dangers. It's particularly tricky because of the shallows and the strong tide.
The course is an interesting course. I've done it quite a lot on boats and things before, but doing it on a raft like that, when you're kind of, you know, responsible for your own destiny, if you like. And I was very aware of the swellies bit, and I didn't want to get anyone too concerned about it. It's a tough stretch of water, and there was a point at which I was concerned because we were drifting towards the middle, and I was kind of saying, you know, it's really important, guys, you know, we were trying to say one side paddling the other side, and by then, of course, everyone's getting quite exhausted.
Some have got the experience, obviously, some work on the Menai Straits and they understand the way the tide runs. And then you get the others that think that they can take a shortcut and they get stuck in the back eddy. And the only thing that happens then is they're going around and around the circles. Yeah, that's them there then for 10 minutes.
For a lot of people, it was the first time they'd actually gone under the bridge like that. It's, you know, absolutely awe-inspiring when you look up at the Menai Bridge as you go under it. And by that point, everyone just wanted to finish.
So it went really well in that we finished the course. We were the last ones in, but that was great because we got an extra big cheer when we came in. But it was hard going, actually. I think the hardest bit was actually standing up when we got off the raft. We weren't disqualified, we weren't towed in, so that was kind of what we were aiming for.
We can't wait for next year now. We're already there and we're already getting the plans together for the raft. And we can't wait to turn up as the same group who were like, you know, the last ones this year and hopefully do really well next year.
Next time, summer sunshine and everyone is out on the water.
You can't look out of your window without seeing the tops of sails coming past.
That was a nice shot.
Frankie goes scuba diving.
It's really nice, colourful, like big sponges, anemones, lots and lots of colour, loads to see. People don't realise, I think, how much is in the Strait.
And Mike gets out for some high-tech data collection.
What you find is that the seabed just suddenly drops off by 20 metres.